We are now happy to be joined by Dwight Gooden. And Dwight, what was your immediate reaction when you got the call from the Mets that your number 16 was going to be retired?
Oh, man. First, thank you guys for having me. It's always great to be on the show. You know, that's one of the first times I was lost for words. Normally, I always have something to say, whether it's good or bad. But when I got the call, you know, it's like surreal. You know, it's a chance of it happening, but when it becomes official, you know, just a solid relief. And you're so happy. And then you look at first call you want to make is, obviously, I want to make it to my father, who's been a supplemental in my life and my baseball career, but unfortunately, he's not here. So I got to call my kids and share that moment with my kids, which is just a tremendous thing. I tried to tell them without tearing up, but I did tear up, and it's a great honor, and I'm definitely something that I'm looking forward to.
Obviously, can only imagine the emotions during that phone call and telling your children. We mentioned Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, World Champion. Where does having your number retired by the Mets now rank among your career accomplishments?
It's the top of the list because, for me, it's the highest honor that you can have that a team can give you. It says that they're completely satisfied with the career that I had, and it goes up to the ultimate. All my personal goals, team goals, have my number retired, where something that my kids and grandkids and everyone that played a part in my career can come back and see and be a part of it. And what I mean by that is all the fans that supported me through my ups and downs, on the field, off the field, as you mentioned earlier when Steve Cohen said Friday nights, and even through my struggles. It's all a part of that. That's when the 16 go up on the Raptors, everyone that was a part of me, a part of my career, will be a part of that day. And so I'm definitely looking forward to the celebration.
Hey, Dwight, it's great to see you. Obviously, you know, you came up around the same time as Darryl Strawberry. A lot of your career was linked with his. What does it mean to have your number retired in the same season that he will?
That's very special. Darryl's like a brother to me. We've had ups and downs like any brothers would have, but at the end of the day, I love him, and I'm sure he loves me. And we've had some of our same struggles, went through a lot of the same similarities. And now we know we both got our life on the right track. He's doing wonderful things with his ministries. I'm trying to do great things with my teenage recovery centers. And so now it's about just being ourselves and being the best people we can be off the field. But to have this honor on the field and to share this again with the Met fans and the Met family is just a tremendous honor. And I can't thank Steve and Alex Cohen enough and the committee that made this all possible. So to share the same opportunity with my jersey being retired, the same as Daryl, a tremendous feat. Like I say, we share a lot of the same similarities, and we're probably closer than ever today than we ever has been.
Hey, Dwight, was there a particular moment with the Mets that stands out among your career accomplishments?
Yes, a particular moment. Probably I would say winning the World Series. Besides, when David Johnson told me I made the team my first year in spring training, that's probably the first time I see my dad cry. And they shared a moment with my dad in the parking lot at Stuggins Stadium? Trying to think. What's the stadium right there in St. Petersburg? I just went Huggins Stadium. In the parking lot, I got to share a moment with my dad. And the first time I seen him tear up, share a moment with him, and then making the Mets team, winning the World Series. And probably the downest time was when '95, when the Mets wanted to cut ties. That was probably the lowest part of my career because I wanted to make things right with the New York fans.
Doc, you mentioned it before, but you did go through some ups and downs in your life and your career. To get to this point where you are now, when you reflect back on all that, how does that feel?
It's a great feeling because everything's timing. I think had this been taking place, say, 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been as enjoyable or receptive to it, and it wouldn't probably meant as much. And what I mean by that, I'm in a better place now. I have a great relationship with my kids, great relationship with the Mets organization, and my health is overall real good. So I think timing is everything, and to share this moment with Daryl, as you mentioned, is a tremendous thing. And I'm just glad, and hopefully a lot of my teammates will be there to share a moment with me as well because they played a big part of it.
Dwight, you already mentioned how you were able to feed off those fans during those prime time starts, and it's well documented how electric Shea was when you were on the mound in Queens. How would you describe the adrenaline rush you felt when you were pitching at home and you got 2 strikes on a batter?
Oh, there's no better feeling. And always, when I talk to the fans today, I always tell them it worked to my advantage because being on the mound at Shea Stadium, and anytime I got 2 strikes on the batters, the fans would be standing up clapping. So that would basically work to my advantage because I didn't have to necessarily throw a strike. If I throw it close, I know the umpire was going to call it a strike because if he didn't, the fans were going to let him hear it. And the hitters, they didn't want to go down looking, so they was going to swing. And so it basically worked to my advantage. So a lot of times, I thank the fans for the success that I had in my career because it was just a tremendous feeling. And even the days that I didn't feel like I had my best stuff, the fans at Shea Stadium brought out the best of me each and every time.
Doc, at that time when you were pitching like that and Shea was rocking in the way that it was, I mean, every one of your starts was event status. Are you aware of that at the time? I mean, did you have to think about it? I mean, it must have been different at Shea when you pitched as opposed to the other 4 days, in between starts when your teammates were going. What was that like? How did you cope with that? How did you deal with it?
You know what? I accepted the challenge, but to be honest with you, Gary Carter played a big role and to my success that I had in 85, because Gary demanded the best out of me. He didn't care if it was up 10 or down 10. He wanted the best out of me, and he would get in my face and let me know. Gary communicated between innings. And the one that's turn to hit and my turn to hit, we always talk between innings. And Gary was one of the type of guys that would get in your face if he had to, but he demanded nothing but the best out of me. Every game of that pitch, he wanted 10-plus strikeouts. He wanted me to pitch a shutout. He wanted a complete game, and that's what he wanted. So I took on the challenge. I was aware that the crowds was bigger and there was more media attention. So I just accepted the challenge. I didn't put any added pressure on myself, but I wanted to be on the mound that particular day. And just because I knew it was something special and bigger than just a ball game at Shea Stadium during that time.
Doc, you did something that guys just don't do anymore, and essentially going from A-ball straight to the majors, and you made it look easy, quite frankly. Did it feel as easy as it looked at the time? What were the challenges of jumping that many levels that quickly?
It wasn't easy at all. A lot of credit goes to Davey Johnson. I pitched with Davey the previous year in Tidewater. I got called up from A-ball to Tidewater. I pitched well for him in the AAA playoffs and World Series. And Davey told me wherever he managed it, next year I was on his team. George Bamberger resigned. Davey got the job. And I got invited as a non-roster to spring training. And I didn't find out I made the team until the last day. And I'm talking to my dad, who was a big inspiration on my baseball career. He will always tell me, when you're pitching, don't pay attention to the back of the names on the jersey, just make your pitches. But it's pretty hard not to pay attention when you're facing a Pete Rose or Mike Schmidt or Dale Murphy. But the first go around was very, very nerve-wracking. I was very, very nervous. I probably didn't feel like I belonged until probably after the All-Star break. I remember having a conversation with Nolan Ryan at the All-Star game, but he told me that he looked forward to every fifth day to watching me pitch if he wasn't pitching. I'm like, wow, this is my childhood idol telling me he looks forward to watching me pitching. So I gave him a world of confidence, and I felt like I belonged, and I was able to relax more after that.
Hey, Doc, I remember our minor league pitchers trying to throw the Dwight Gooden curveball. How did you learn that pitch?
My dad actually taught me that curveball when I was 10 years old. He always felt like it was what you throw and how you throw opposed to what you're throwing at the time. So he felt it was okay. So he taught me that pitch when I was 10 years old. He had me doing a lot of drills before he gave me the ball. And what I mean by that, I would do a lot of drills without a ball, without a glove. And Gary Sheffield, my nephew, would be there with me, catching me. And once he felt like my mechanics was down, then he'd give me the ball. But he always felt like it was how you're throwing it opposed to what you're throwing. So I learned the curveball at 10 years old.
Doc, obviously, as part of the sensation that you were, there were murals of you in New York City at the time, Times Square, Penn Station, stuff like that. I mean, if it were me, I would be tempted to ride around town looking at them every now and then. Did you ever do that kind of stuff? And what do you remember of those things?
It's funny. So my parents would come to town, and my sisters would come over. I would make sure I show them that mural in the city. It definitely helped me with some dates. If I was dating a girl for the first time, I would find my way to go right by there and say, "Oh, look up there, that's me." I didn't know I was up there. Just to get the attention. Just kidding, but just to have that was definitely surreal, especially being 20 years old and seeing yourself on a mural like that. Was definitely a blessing in disguise, and something I always cherish. And one of my daughters have it on a screensaver. So it's a great accomplishment at the time, and something I always cherish.
If there was social media back in the 80s, that would be on everyone's Instagram page. You'd be asking you to take selfies with it behind you. Last time you were on Baseball Night in New York, you said you'd let Shohei Ohtani wear number 16 if he came to the Mets. Now that number's getting retired, are you still willing to give it up for Shohei Ohtani?
Not now. That was then. Things changed, that was a time ago. Not now. Now that number's up there for good. So nobody's going to wear that when I've been told. So it's something that I'm very honored about and something I cherish. I can't thank Steve and Alex point enough.
Maybe we'll have to rush things and have the ceremony on Sunday to make sure it's off limits for Ohtani this offseason. Dwight Gooden, really appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on this honor, and thanks for joining us on Baseball Night in New York. And we're looking forward to hearing more about that conversation with you and Nolan Ryan. But thanks a lot for joining us here today.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thank you.